to o kaya to purja to bo kaya drug. We were thankful for the valley and the lake that divided us from the world we thought ours. Our blessings became our prison. In this life, I was born Pudra Yahog, valley of the twin waterfalls. Rivers ran like veins through the land, giving it life abundant resources and devoid of predators, besides that of man. The rivers led to Drug, the dividing lake that separated us from the vast northern desert. Man ruled over this land, developing the settlement of Tart, a humble village, domesticating animals and plants. It was a state of peace, the mortals living together in perfect communion. Perfection is the spider's greatest lie. A new ruler would soon make this land its home. The worst tragedies are the ones that blindside you. You can prepare for the loss of a loved one. How do you prepare for the loss of hundreds? It was like any other day. I was doing my part, picking fruit from the garden, when it came. A dark cloud in the sky. Nothing unusual, I had thought. Sandstorms were common as the wind blew in from the desert. Yet this cloud wasn't just dark, it appeared a shadowy green. And then came the sound, a horrid, piercing buzzing, a constant ringing that paralyzed me. This was a swarm not of bugs, but of monsters. They came to eat, and dinner was perfectly prepared. Chaos ensued. People ran, some tried to hide, and others just stood still. When we have the privilege to look back on something, we can see the mistakes others made. During this state of reflection, we aren't feeling the same emotions the people who are living it are feeling. So please, snails, do not judge the mistakes made by the mortals of Tart. I too have a regret. A child who was aiding me in the farm had fallen as we ran. I should have taken his arm, but when I heard the thud and the growing sound of the swarm, I didn't look back. I kept running. I will always remember the child's scream. You are not given a slow death by these monsters. They bit and tore at the flesh. Even as you ran, they latched themselves inside of you, feeding until you drop. Death by thousands of tiny bites. While man fled back into the caves. In what feels like a mockery, these monsters erected massive towers in the exact spot Tart once stood. Towers made of mud, fecal matter, and the remains of Tart. This was a castle for the new ruler of this land, the one greater than the monsters, the Titan, Cornebra, the one who is many. There are two distinct interpretations of Cornebra. The mortals think of Cornebra as the collective idea of the monsters, as one being. I have dubbed the monsters as Cornero, the hand of Cornebra, since one of the Titan's divine abilities allows it complete control over its monsters. Their eyes are its eyes, their bodies just an extension of itself. Cornebra, the Titan, is similar to a termite queen. It's made of three distinct body structures, with the first two being the size of the average man, and the third, the abdomen, about 4 times larger than the rest of it. Its antennae, as tall as the trees. The monsters are its children. Cornebra is the first titan I've experienced that shares most of its divine rays, rather than hoarding it, granting its monsters with the ability of metamorphosis. Each monster starts as one of the 100 eggs Cornebra lays. They hatch into larvae. Yet once they molt, the variety they can take is equal to individual names in all the realms, making it very hard to adapt to them, while they are constantly adapting to us. Man once stood at the top of the food chain. They now find themselves among the same ranks of the animals they thought they were better than. This community, this life, what took people years to build, in moments was shattered. What do you do once your life has fallen apart? There are only two options: adapt or go extinct. Before we can change anything, we must first accept what has happened. The climax of a tragedy might happen in a short period of time, but all actions ripple out. The first few months after that fateful day was also filled with death, from those trying to run, from those trying to fight back, and even from those just trying to survive, but now far too domesticated from the wilds that birthed them. Feelings allow us to make split-second decisions. These choices won't always be the right one. Change is a natural part of life. Everything changes over time. Change has no morals. It is not good or bad. To want a better life is admirable. So the mortals who find themselves wanting change decide to ascend, attempting to climb the cliffs they once thought unclimbable. Even as you usher the change, it does not mean you control the outcome. Everything can be going your way, but all it takes is one mistake, and you find yourself lower than you've ever been. Knowledge became the most important resource in this new age, people sharing their discoveries to aid in each other's survival. This led to basic symbols being made to inform one another. We had symbols to inform of locations of resources like food and water, but also a form of danger, like the monsters. These symbols were carved into trees, and they were made of 5 lines, with a sixth added if something needs to change. And as the environment tries to adapt to these invaders, a lot changes. While I age, there is one mystery I want to find an answer to. The amount of times I've seen the sign for water be crossed out seems to be greater than any other. So I decided to follow a river that hadn't been there when I was born. It led to the towers. I found all the rivers had led here. The appearance of any deity causes the environment to reshape around it, but this seemed like intelligent design. Carnivora was using the water the same way man once was, using it for agriculture. As the Cornero found me, they were much larger than the ones I've seen before. I was not about to die of thousands of bites, but instead one deliberate strike from a stinger. I realized something. These monsters could easily find the remaining man. This valley was not a prison. It had become a pen. They were farming us, using the rivers to divide us, to make sure we would always have to go back to them. I hope one day the mortals here can accept what had happened, so they can make meaningful changes to be free. If you lived this life, Snails, how would you free yourself?